Hello folks, this is Anthony. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take off this engine off of HS624-724-828. I usually do this on a machine like this. This is a parts machine. The engine runs good. It does need a tune-up and some other work, but I can use this engine on another machine. Or another reason why you'd have to take off the engine is if you're going to rebuild the right side transmission gearbox. It's a lot easier to take off the engine. You won't have so much weight on it when it's up on its nose, and you got to take the side cover off. You got to take this side cover off. So with all the extra weight from the engine, it's a lot easier. You'd be surprised how easy this was going to be. So let me show you. Let me show you first what tools we're going to need. Maybe some penetrating oil, a Phillips screwdriver, 14 millimeter wrench, 12 millimeter wrench, 10 millimeter wrench, 10 millimeter socket wrench, little pry bar maybe. You really don't need much. Your tray for your hardware. So let's go through this first. Let me get all my tools over here ready. All right, the first thing, I've done this, I don't know, not dozens of times. I've probably done it over 100 times. So I'll go step by step on how I do it. The first thing you want to do is remove the shooter. This is called the shooter arm. So it's a 12 millimeter. It's a 12 millimeter nut under here. So you loosen this up. I removed the chute just to make it easier to show. This is just 3 bolts, and then the chute comes off. Here's the chute cable. We'll get that out of the way. Loosen up this nut, pull it out, okay? Then you have to remove this up here near the fuel tank. It's a 10 millimeter. All right, so I move that out of the way. And while we're over here, I want to remove this. This is your ground for your ignition, so I want to remove that. So that's your ground. Here's your light, so you pull that off, okay? Here's your ignition. So you pull this apart, all right? So you got all that away. So on this side of the engine, we have everything out of the way. All right, let's go over to the other side. Now you can remove the throttle cable from underneath here, underneath your control panel. You would release this nut here to pull it out and release the throttle cable. I'm not sure if you can see that. Remove the throttle cable from there, but I usually remove it from this side. So you take this off. You want to remove this. Remove this little screw. I loosen up you can take the muffler off if you want to, but I just loosen it up a little bit. I take this side cover off. It's 2 little bolts. I took the little bolts out to save a little bit of time. So I'll get that side cover off. Now I can pull my top plate off. Now I was going to do this anyways because the engine needs to be cleaned up, and needs to be tuned up. I want to release the spark plug wire because I'm going to be playing with the belts. Here's your throttle keeper. I loosen that up here. The throttle, this part of the throttle is underneath here. So I loosened this up beforehand. And I'm gonna take that cover off out of the way. And let's see if I can get this out. Usually I use some needle nose pliers to pull that out. Let me get my needle nose. So I get this out here. Can you see that? See how it pulls out? So now I've released my throttle cable. Okay. Now I want to take off my belt cover. Now belt cover was 2 bolts down here, 1 bolt here, and 1 on the side. So I already pulled them out just to save time. So the belt cover just comes right off. All right. Now this is where I use the pry bar. This is the belt guide. It's usually perpendicular to the pulley wheels. It's nice and straight. I just pull it out a little bit like this so I can get this belt off. You see that? So now I've got the auger belt off. You also got to thread off this belt, the dry belt. You see how it comes off? That's why I removed the spark plug wire. I don't want it starting up by accident. Look at this belt. This is in pretty poor shape. So what, you can thread it off. You can thread it off to the front just like I did this one. But since the belt is no good, I'm just going to use some shears and cut the belt off. There's no reason for me to worry about this belt. Look at this belt. This may be the original belt. This is a 928 from 1998 to 2015. So it might be the original belt. So I got that out of the way. Okay. Anything else on this side? Okay, no. Now I can take the mounting nuts off. I use a 14 millimeter ratchet wrench. Makes it easier, okay? I already loosened this up to save time. So you got 2 14 millimeter nuts on this side. And you got 2 on this side. This one was missing, which is not really unusual when you find a machine, parts machine, pieces are going to be missing. So I've got these nuts off. I disconnected this. I disconnected the belts and moved these out of the way. Disconnected the ignition wire, the ground wire, and now you just pull it off. Let's see if I can do this without killing myself with the snow. There you go. See how easy that was? I mean, I did a little bit of preliminary work loosening things up just so it would be faster. To put the engine back on, it's just the opposite of what you did to take it off. Okay, so now I can work on the engine, rebuild it if I have to, or clean it up and tune it up. I can work on the chassis. Sometimes it's all cracked in here. You can weld up, clean it up with the pressure washer, clean it all up and weld cracks or whatever. Or work on the hydrostatic transmission when it's if it's broken. So I can put it up on its nose like this, and I can remove all this, your axle and your pedal, your tracks and wheels, take the side cover off and work on this gearbox. So that's how you remove the engine, folks. It's fairly easy. It's a lot easier to understand in a video compared to, step by step in the Honda shop manual, or if I wrote an article about it. That's why I did this video, is because people have been asking me, Anthony, you think you can do a video on this? It's not something that the normal homeowner has to do, but it's kind of nice to know that it's not very difficult. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.